What if Christ returned to earth and was barely noticed? Picture him entering a city, not greeted with reverence, but engulfed by a carnival crowd, masked, noisy, and self-absorbed. This is the vision James Ensor gives us in his monumental painting, Christ's Entry into Brussels, in 1889. And today, we'll explore why this chaotic scene is one of the most influential works of modern art. The painting is enormous, over 2.5 meters high and 4.3 meters wide. At first glance, it feels overwhelming. Thousands of figures crammed into a parade, a riot of clashing reds, yellows, greens, and blues. Only after careful looking do we find Christ, haloed and dressed in red, seated on a donkey at the center. The subject recalls Palm Sunday, when Christ entered Jerusalem. But here, instead of palms and devotion, we see brass bands, banners, grotesque caricatures, and masks. Christ seems calm, but almost swallowed by a crowd too distracted to recognize him. The masks are telling. In Belgium, carnival masks were part of popular tradition, but for Ensor they became symbols of hypocrisy, vanity, and human folly. Almost everyone in this parade wears one, literal or metaphorical, making the quiet dignity of Christ stand out all the more. Ensor's technique adds to the effect. He used brushes, palette knives, and even spatulas, applying thick pigment in bold patches of color. Space feels flattened, there's no clear perspective guiding us toward Christ, as in traditional religious art. Instead, the crowd surges forward like a wall, pressing toward the viewer. It's intentional disorder. To understand why, it helps to know a bit about Ensor. He was born in 1860 in Ostend, Belgium, where his family ran a souvenir shop that sold carnival masks and odd curiosities, objects that clearly shaped his imagination. He often felt out of step with society and with the art establishment, and this painting channels that frustration. And what about the 1889 in the title? Rather than setting the event in biblical Jerusalem, Ensor places it in his own time, modern Brussels. One banner even proclaims "Vive la Sociale," a slogan tied to the workers' movement. The result is both satirical and biting. Ensor suggests that in a society obsessed with spectacle and politics, the sacred could pass unnoticed. When Ensor first completed the canvas in 1888, it shocked his peers. The avant-garde group Le Vingt refused to exhibit it, and the work remained rolled up in his studio for decades. It wasn't shown publicly until 1929, long after Ensor had begun to gain recognition. Today, it hangs in the J. Paul Getty Museum in Los Angeles, regarded as a precursor to modern Expressionism. And here's a rewarding detail. Some scholars think Ensor painted himself into the throng, or even gave Christ his own features. Whether or not that's true, it suggests that he saw himself as both part of the crowd and as a figure ignored or mocked by it. So what does this painting ask of us? Christ's entry into Brussels in 1889 confronts us with a question. In the noise of our modern world, would we recognize something profound, or would we be too distracted by the parade? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which artwork should I explore next? Share your suggestions in the comments below.